Good evening, kindred. I am Teranz, and welcome back to more Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York. Last time we visited Coney Island. Then we were picked up by the sheriff because the Baron is dead, or most likely dead, and now we were whisked to a party that we weren't initially invited to. So let us continue. We all celebrate our power in different ways, I suppose. Now what is this all about? Just a moment. Over here, Addison. The Camarillas and infamous spokesman pushed towards us in a wheelchair by his servant. Elaine, everyone, I certainly hope this is something important. What a commanding tone. Seeing as Payne can't communicate normally, his servant relays his words to us instead. And he's posh and snobby enough to make me believe I'm listening to his master's voice. Carter won't be joining us. He gave me fair warning he might not make it tonight. I've messaged him the details. I'll have to find time to meet him later then. Finding time, searching for lost time. I swear, it's all I do nowadays, and there's never enough. I guess now you understand why I insisted that this evening must last all week. So many esteemed guests, many of them from out of town, each deserving at least a few hours. The figure in the wheelchair waves his hand impatiently. Yes, let's just cut to the chase now, shall we? That might be the wisest course of action, my prince. Arturo. My prince, everyone, let me begin by stressing these important points. The situation is largely under control. The negotiations are underway, and the situation is more tense than dangerous. We are safe. Let me repeat. We are safe. And with that out of the way, here's the big news. Baron Callahan, de facto leader of the Anarchs in New York City, met his final death in his office tonight. How did you find out? We have a good friend near his office. Their intel is as accurate as it gets. We've also established a negotiation channel with the Anarchs. They gave us all the confirmation we needed. Was our court involved in his destruction? I look at her in disbelief. So does everyone else. Not that the same thought hasn't passed through my head, but to simply exclaim it like that. Oh, spare me the virtue signaling. I thought we were being transparent here. I don't give a damn if we took care of Callahan or not. I just want to have a clear idea of what I'm dealing with. Yes, a clear answer. I need that too. To my knowledge, none of us present here ordered his destruction, nor did we participate in it. Unless someone wants to confess, it's now or never. Of course, nobody speaks up. Arturo pretends to clear his throat. That's our official position as well. The Camarilla's ruling body has nothing to do with it. For all intents and purposes, his Anarch contenders had more interest in removing him than we did. That interest is sure to manifest in one way now. His former enemies will prop him up as a martyr for the cause. Oh, excuse me. Yes, which is why we sadly can't just leave the Anarchs to their own devices. As much as we'd like to avoid recognizing their sect in any way, we've offered to assist them in an official investigation. Addison Payne's wrinkled face contorts slightly. Let me just ask you one question. You do realize those curs have no respect for our traditions, yes? We do, Addison, but as a veteran politician, you should be deeply familiar with the words controlled opposition. Yes, for now it's impossible to fully contain the Anarch threat in New York. For now, our only option is to prop up a candidate who will offer the least resistance to our future plans to the city. We extend our hand to the most promising contender, giving him a way to represent himself as a diplomat, a man of reasonable compromise. The rabble falls in line, the purists grow angry and alienated. We've already contacted the best possible person in their sect. He will oversee the investigation, and it's in his best interest to show that he's able to resolve the situation calmly. Is that good enough? Addison ponders the question for a while, then waves his hand again. It is. Proceed. Funny thing, nobody's paying any attention to me right now. Keep in mind, Mr. Payne, our man's people will still barely tolerate us, and the situation is volatile. The other factions within that sorry excuse for a sect might still try to escalate the conflict. I will do my best to solve this situation as fast as possible. How so? Kadir is momentarily taken aback by Arturo's question. I volunteer to coordinate the case with the Anarchs, of course. I refuse. You have more important duties to focus on. Once more, Kadir is stunned. All due respect, Prince, but if you don't consider me capable of tackling this issue and attending to my usual duties at the same time, I think you gravely underestimate me. Your penchant for working yourself to the bone is well known and appreciated by everyone in this room, Sheriff, but so is your perfectionism. If we grant you your wish and let you investigate while still fulfilling your routine obligations, can you guarantee you're going to give both these tasks your best? I can guarantee something very close to my best. Close to your best doesn't cut it, Al-Asami. Not when the vultures are out in force. Callahan's destruction is sure to cause unrest among the Anarchs, and there's an obvious outlet for their pent-up rage. I want to make this perfectly clear. The celebration will continue as planned, no matter what. This is why your presence here is absolutely necessary, Sheriff. We rely on your constant protection. Of course, my prince, we must be on constant vigil for a few days. Al-Asami's sword must be constantly pointed at the enemy surrounding us. The timing of the Baron's destruction is impeccable. The Anarch leaders are sure to point at us and claim we're shamelessly celebrating his end. Does anyone believe it's just a coincidence? Murders are messy, almost as messy as politics. It's impossible to reliably predict the outcome of any violent action. I think it'd be wise for us bracing for a lot of unfortunate coincidences, Aisling. In any case, the rabble can't get the impression that their power struggles are of great concern to us. But they also can't think we have something to hide, which brings me to my point. We do need a symbolic gesture, one displaying expertly measured intensity. My best bet is a humble diplomatic envoy, a low-level official acting as an investigator of sorts. I implore you, Prince. Kadir. He bites his tongue and struggles to collect himself. I rarely see him lose his temper, at least where the Camarilla is involved. What's going on? I wonder about your suggestion for this role. After all, it's not particularly prestigious, but carries a lot of responsibility. We're still talking about a Camarilla representative. Oh, I think there's a very obvious candidate. Both he and Kadir looked at me simultaneously. Everyone else in the room does too. Now wait a second, he can't possibly mean... Miss Julia, once again, your full name eludes me at the moment. Am I allowed to speak? Or maybe I should wait for permission. Before I make up my mind, the sheriff sighs deeply and speaks up. Sowinski. Miss Julia Sowinski, right. I understand you used to be an investigative journalist before your embrace. That's correct. Among others, the Banu Hakim Primogen insisted that you are worthy of greater privilege and should be given a chance to prove yourself. Samira measures Arturo with suspicion. Yes. Do you still think she's capable? She looks me deep in the eye. I swear she's telepathically trying to tell me, please, 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 don't fuck this up, you dumbass little white girl. Of course. Good, and I'm sure that you, Al-Samai, have no problem with your protege embarking on this mission, save for the pain a mother feels when watching her child leave the nest. Whether I do or don't is not particularly important right now, is it? It absolutely is. Panhard's backing of Arturo momentarily blindsides him. Prince Panhard, if Arturo's plan is reckless, I want you to tell me. I need a simple yes or no answer. Is the girl capable? Now he knows he's left with no choice. I wouldn't have entrusted her with all the responsibilities that I have if she wasn't. He exchanged glances with me, but his look is different than Samira's, as if he's trying to apologize. As if he's trying to apologize to me. Okay, so I did have that more or less right. Here we are then, a recommendation from the Banu Hakim Primogen and the sheriff. To tell the truth, I was just throwing out ideas, but with this backing, I can't doubt the Night Clan's representative will get the job done. I'm certain each of us feels the same. Mr. Payne? The atmosphere in the room mostly suggests people are glad they don't have to discuss the topic further. A shrug here, an averted gaze there. It's as you say. I will watch the way she handles this situation with great interest. Well then, Miss Sowinski, looks like you've got your chance for a big break. Yeah, just point me in the right direction and tell me what to do. No point in pretending I have a choice here, is there? Excellent. That leaves us with only one more matter which I hope we can agree on. Prince Panhard signals someone with their hand. The figure emerges from behind the corner. Good evening. Catherine, what a pleasant surprise. Nobody informed us you are in town. Addison, looking healthier than ever. And what does Weiss have to do with this? We need an impartial observer who everyone respects. As it happens, Catherine always knew how to make friends on both sides without angering either. I beg to differ. I'd be grateful if for once you decide against throwing a tantrum about me, High Regent. A painful grimace crosses crosses Aisling's face, but she is quick to interpret the taunt as an invitation to a game she can't possibly win. As long as she can prove herself useful to the proceeding in some way. If half of what I heard from Mr. Vander Weiden is true, she should be able to. And what did poor Carter say about me this time? Nothing specific. One always has to read between the lines with him, but it was mostly envy. Miss Weiss gracefully agreed to mediate between the Anarch representative and the Lasombra representative, ensuring mutual cooperation and mitigating potential conflict. That felt like a Freudian slip. Lasombra representative, not Camarilla representative, i.e. someone who can be catapulted from the sect without much damage to the ivory tower if they mess up. Is there a meeting set up? Arturo looks at the clock on the other side of the room. Oh man, excuse me. In less than an hour. You'd better hurry then. What the hell? All this is happening so fast. If the situation is indeed under control, I'll drive her and oversee the situation. Out of the question, Sheriff. Out of the question. You've got your orders, Sheriff. Attend to those. You fool, the girl needs guidance. And we need yours. Nobody knows what might happen next. But it's not as if the Anarchs have a lot of love for you, Alisama. You're too efficient in your duties for them to tolerate you. Better spare Miss Lewinsky having them see you two together. Do you think my guidance of Julia would be lacking, Kadir? I never said that. So do you have any objections to putting her under my care? He lowers his gaze but seems reassured. None whatsoever. That's all I needed to hear. We'll be going then. Wasting no time as usual, I see. Have you at least tried the aperitifs? Waiting is an old person's game, Helen. I still feel young. Remember, if there's anything you need help with. Probably not. I appreciate the thought nevertheless. Have a great night, everyone. I'll catch up with you later, Addison. I certainly hope you do. And so we leave, in a rush. Funny considering what she told me about being in a hurry yesterday. We're here. She thanks the chauffeur and lets me out of the car into a quiet neighborhood somewhere in Queens. Seemed like you're in a rush? I couldn't stand the crowd. She's honest, probably performatively so, just to get into my good graces. Well, it's working. And why is that? In my experience, gatherings like these always enable a boring pack mentality. All the familiar lies we tell ourselves just to justify lusting for more, repeated ad nauseum. And what lies are you telling yourself? Her aura immediately turns colder. You have bigger issues to worry about, sweetheart. Ah, well, at least I know how familiar I can get with her. That I do. Back at the art hole, he said something about guiding me, but I have zero idea what to do. None whatsoever. I had a few necessary arrangements. To make over the phone before we got here to ensure your pretty little head stays attached to your neck. For now, anyway. I'm grateful, but I still feel way out of my depth. I need to know what to do. You used to make a living as an investigative journalist, did you not? Investigate the murder. in TV shows where an investigative journalist gets too close to the heart of a politically incendiary case, it rarely goes well. A cat's head on their porch, a bullet to the head. So, are you afraid you might be a pawn in a game you don't understand, that your elders consider you a disposable asset, that a single wrong move might cost you everything you hold dear? That sounds about right, yeah. Well, by the sound of it, you understand your situation perfectly. Don't belittle me. I need your advice. Be anything you want, but I wouldn't be boring, Julia. If I wanted to belittle you, I would have drowned you in platitudes long ago. Know thyself, believe in your strength, and trust no one, act confident, turn the chessboard around and read your opponent's mind. Read Sun Tzu and quote him incessantly. Say, do you feel any better now? Can I ask you something? Seeing as Mia is still not here, of course. Do you know who killed Baron Callahan? I haven't the slightest idea. Were you emotionally impacted by his death? Not at all. Did you know him? Only in passing, I'm afraid. I expected him to perish sooner than later, so I never bothered to improve our relationship. Why are you helping me? Am I? That remains to be seen. What do you mean? You do not want a painfully honest answer. But I do. She stares me down. Her irreverent tone makes it impossible to guess what she's feeling, even more so than the mask. When I look at you, I see someone pitiful, someone whose hunger is purely biological, just an animalistic rush. When I saw a burgeoning plan to put you in a situation that is way beyond your capabilities, I offered my help. I was curious to see your true colors reveal themselves firsthand. When everything is said and done, and Callahan's killer is pointed out, will you be a whimpering animal or a victor taking the spoils? I cannot wait to find out. I don't know what to say. Is she provoking me or... Mia should be here any second. You have time for one more question. Who is Mia? She shakes her head, half disappointed. Sorry, wrong voice. I know I've been doing that a lot. For some reason I was like, oh yeah, this is totally her response, not my inner monologue. She shakes her head, half disappointed, half amused. Really, how boring. Look behind you. There is your answer. A woman around my age emerges from around the corner of the street. I never met her before, but if I had to describe her 2 words by her aura alone, I'd guess those 2 words would be permanently angry, even more so than your average anarch. You must be Catherine Weiss. I did not like that voice. Man, I wish I was better at doing voices. I don't know. You must be Catherine Weiss. And you must be Mia Morgan. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. The pleasure is mutual. This your girl? Julia Sawinski, the Lasombra Primogen. The Lasombra representative. I correct her automatically. At this point, it's a habit. Good. If you were a Primogen, I might have tried to kill you here and now. Is Torque still on the site? Oh yeah. Is Torque still on the site? Nah, I told him I'd take it from here. Yeah, anyway. By the end of tonight, he needs to look like a natural candidate for leader of the NYC Anarchs. It's going to take a lot of driving around and negotiation. How did he react to finding Callahan's remains? He hasn't exactly elaborated on his feelings, but I expect he reacted the same way every true believer in the cause did. It's this complicated mess of all the possible feelings under the moon. So, was he the first one who to the murder site? Oh, so you're already calling it a murder site. Does the Ivory Tower know something we don't? It's not the official position, but I expect a lot of them think it's Torque who stood to benefit the most from the boss's death, and it sounds like he's quick to jump on new opportunities. You don't know him. Yes. Yes, but I'd love to meet him and ask him some questions, especially if he was the one who found the body. Well, if you're meeting Torque at all, it won't be tonight. He's too busy. Oh, man. I was assigned to investigate. I won't be able to do it properly if I'm not able to question a key witness. I'll arrange for you to see him this week. For him to see you this week. This week. Man, I am. Wow. All right. I am losing all sorts of voices now. Like, my normal voice is fine, but I'm losing like all the voices I had for these characters. Because this is. Anyway. I don't know what I was going to say. This week, aren't tensions a little too high for delaying an investigation like this? Well, Torque's work is our best shot at making sure they won't get higher, so boo fucking who. I'm his right-hand woman, though. You got any questions, direct them to me. Maybe the two of you should just head to Callahan's office. The discussion here does not seem to be going in the right direction, nor in a particularly interesting one. You're not coming? Torque and you are not the only ones who have their work cut out for them tonight. I trust you can take it from here. And Mia, be easy on her. In slightly different circumstances, I expect the two of you would have ended up on the same side of the barricades. Aha. Take care. She heads back to her vehicle. Well, follow me. I'll show you his place. Alright, well, this seems like a good time to call the episode, so thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time with more Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York.